All right, everybody, welcome to the watch list of July 7th, the week of July 7th. Man, this is going to be a big week. Last week was a holiday week, being that it was Independence Day on, I believe, Thursday. And so the market was kind of iffy, wasn't really delivering too heavily on either side at first. And then towards the end of the week, we saw a nice breakout to the upside. We ran all-time highs. We got to the target that we've been targeting since the middle of May. We've been targeting this level on the NASDAQ. We finally got there on Friday. Same thing with SPY, but I'll show that and talk about that. But let's talk about what's going forward. What's next? Now that we hit that objective, what is next for the market? So let's look at the weather report. And yes, if you're new here, we call this the weather report because it's all about time and price. You could have a great setup, but if time is not in alignment, it's not going to play out. How many times have you guys seen like the perfect setup? Whatever strategy you trade, you might be a pattern trader and you see, oh, this is a great double bottom. Or you might be an SMC trader and say, yo, I love this fair value gap. And it doesn't deliver. And you're like, what's going on? And you realize it's Sunday at 8 p.m. or Asia session, or there's no news events today. So the market is choppy. And that's why we say you want to wait for time to align with the price action, because when there's a news driver and you have a great setup, it's going to play out and it's going to play out very quickly. So that's what we want to trade. We want to trade trend. So now looking at this, we got Monday is very uneventful. We got consumer credit, 3 p.m. Nothing to talk about. Tuesday, Jerome Powell is going to be talking on Tuesday at 10 a.m. So be careful, but understand it could bring some volatility to the market. He's also talking on Wednesday at 10 a.m. testimony to the House. So Senate on Tuesday, he's talking to the House on Wednesday. So these 2 days here, be careful, as you know, but he can make price move aggressively either direction. So we may get some trend. But sometimes when it's like two in a row, let's say he's going to talk Tuesday and Wednesday, Tuesday could be somewhat choppy. And then Wednesday, after he speaks, that's when it could trend. So I just want you to be careful of that. But Thursday is a huge day as it's CPI. So low key, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, y'all, I want everybody's antennas to be up for reversal signs or just straight aggressive movements in the market. So beware. And then Friday is PPI, which is also nothing to take lightly. PPI is another pretty decent news driver. So I'm not gonna lie, y'all, this week could really cause some major moves in the market. And we're also starting a new 90-day cycle. Now I haven't talked to y'all about 90-day cycles, but it has to do with just kind of quarters in the year. We're opening a brand new quarter. It's also the beginning of July. So don't be surprised to see shifts in market sentiment. Don't be surprised to see big retracements and stuff like that. It's about that time when it can happen. And look, we have a week full of major events. So just be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. Now let's take it to the charts. DXY didn't deliver higher than our initial target. So we had an initial first target of using this BTSMC right here that let me highlight it. And by BTSMC, I mean bullish fair value gap, right? We have a bullish fair value gap right here. This was last week's plan. We wanted to tap into this and take it to this yellow line, literally. And what is this yellow line? It's the highest body right here on this swing point on the weekly chart. That was our target. And I show you guys time and time again why I say it is the safest target you could take. Everyone thinks liquidity is just the top of the swing point. It's not. Institutional liquidity, institutional order flow, sometimes they just want to target the highest body at a swing point. And so that's what we targeted. And luckily, that's what we targeted on DXY, because after that, it's been terribly bearish. And so now we want to see if we can continue to the downside. And so I will do the same thing. I will now target the weekly lowest body here on DXY. I didn't want any farther. And I told you guys, if we come and close under this BTSMC, I'm looking for DXY to make some bearish moves. And so as y'all seen, we closed under the BTSMC and then the rest is history. So we'll see how far down it wants to go. I think a safe target, once again, is just the lowest body on the swing low of the weekly chart. I'm aiming for that. All right, so DXY, I'm expecting bearishness, which is relevant because that can give us somewhat of a bullish sentiment as far as NASDAQ and S&P goes. Now, let's talk the 2-year bond. For the 2-year, we were watching this bullish fair value gap to see if we close under it. Hold on, let me be very specific. If we close under it, my people, not wick under it, That's how we talk about with fair value, guys. We focus on bodies. If we close under it, then we would get bearish and start looking for, you know, some new lows. But as you can see, look at this is algorithmic price delivery right here. You can see that the bodies stayed above the body stayed within the fair value gap, which is what you want to see as far as respect goes. It was a very bad sign that we had a body close under the halfway of this fair value gap. So this is more of an unusual delivery. In this scenario, you will want to see bodies respect 50%. This is one of the more unusual scenarios where the bodies came all the way to the low side, but ultimately the fair value gap did what it's supposed to do and deliver us higher. We just got to the last high. Cool. Now what comes next? You want to see just simple continuation to the upside. Why is this relevant? Because this is something that we use for sentiment as well. So if this is bullish, typically NASDAQ is bullish as well. I mean, NASDAQ ran all-time highs on Friday. Do you see what Friday's candle look like on the 2-year? Do you see what Thursday's candle look like? All right, those were very bullish days for the NASDAQ. And so we're just going to look for continuation to the upside. I expect to see continuation to the upside. Personally, I don't want to see us come back down to these lows at all. So I'm expecting to see bullish continuation here on the 2-year. I'm looking for a price to make a move up here to, this is a VI on the weekly. I'm aiming for that. But I'll keep it up there on this. For now, I just want you to know I have bullish sentiment on it. Now, if we come back and lose this BTSMC, then obviously I get super bearish on it. So, but as of right now, where it stands, we're bullish. Now, let me touch Forex for a second. As you know, I'm mainly a futures and options trader, but I chart Forex because I have some Forex audience. So here on British pound, this was last week's plan. We were looking for a price to use. I lost it. Where it's at? Let me just go back to the daily, whatever. So on a daily chart, we were looking for price to come and run these highs, the June highs. Obviously it delivered, but it over delivered because now we went way past the June 25th highs. And I'm just looking for a continuation here. I'm looking forward to run these highs here from March 8th. All right, that's my next destination for British pound. I'm looking forward to run March 8th highs. All right, especially with the bearish expectation on the dollar. And let me mention something about the dollar real quick. Let me swing back to the dollar for a second. The delivery on the upside as well as the downside have been very, I would say, it hasn't been the cleanest. And when I notice a delivery on either side of the market that's not clean, I get very wary about any PD arrays or any POYs that you have. And so even targets, etc. Like I know this target played out literally to the tick, so we sniped that, yes. But even so, aiming for this weekly lowest body target, I think it's gonna get there, yes. But when I notice stuff like this, all it tells me is, guess what? Consolidation, right? That's what it's telling me. And so it's like I would love for DXY to break this range, either these highs or break under these lows, for me to kind of be more convinced. So I would just say be careful trading Forex, be careful trading any dollar pairs because of the delivery on both sides of the market. It's not like the bearish side was ugly, but the bullish side was smooth and trendy. It was ugly on both sides. And when you see stuff like that, you gotta put your goggles on and say, hold on, let me step back. Let me look at this differently. This might be chop, this might be consolidation. So based on the dollar, yes, I understand. I think that the dollar is going to be bearish, and so I have more of a bullish expectation on British pound. And for these highs now, when it comes to New Zealand, same thing. I'm looking for daily highest body right here. So the highest body from June 12th. That's my next destination there. This played out as well. Just everything has been working out on these Forex tickets here, and for USD CHF, this is another thing I'm looking for some downside just to come into this daily BTSMC, and then we'll see what it does from there, because we could get a bounce from here, so you got to be careful. But I think it's gonna trade down to this daily BTSMC. That's my next target. Oh yeah, this was something we looked at last week, because we saw after the sweep we had a BTSMC pop out. We wanted bullishness, cool. It had its bullishness. Now it's trading back down, and so my next destination is for it to come into this BTSMC. All right, so that's Forex for real. Let's go to crypto, because this is something we use for sentiment. So crypto last week was the only thing that was bearish, the only asset class for real that was really bearish. And you can see here, we talked about price rejecting this weekly SIBI Oh my gosh, did y'all see the drop off we got off the weekly civvy? Like, we sniped the heck out of this on Bitcoin, dropped off hard, had a little pop, and now it's dropping again. And so ultimately, when it comes to Bitcoin right now, as long as we're holding, let me go to the weekly, my fault. Look at the weekly. So do you see this weekly bullish fair value gap right here? Okay, we've been holding that. Currently, we've been holding that. I've been saying for obviously weeks now that as long as we're holding this weekly BTSMC, I'm bullish on Bitcoin. It was going really well. And then we came to what? Let me mark this off so y'all can see it even more clearly. We came to what? The highest body on the weekly chart. Man, ain't that crazy? We came to the highest body on the weekly chart. It didn't come above the actual wick. Cool. So anyways, came to the highest body. Now we traded all the way back down to the BTSMC. This is a very bad sign. This is a very bad sign if you're a bull, if you're bullish on crypto. But you still need confirmation, because at the end of the day, it could just do this, right? At the end of the day. So yeah, I'm not bearish necessarily on crypto just yet, but it's showing terrible signs. So as long as we hold this weekly BTSMC, I say be cautious. But once we lose this, and if you want to be even more and more cautious, you could wait to see if we lose the monthly BTSMC. If we lose either the weekly or the monthly, regardless, these are the last bull cases for Bitcoin. If it don't do that, I think Bitcoin sees its way all the way down into the low 30s, personally. So this is like do or die for Bitcoin. This area, you got to realize that there's a divergence here with Ethereum. Notice that Bitcoin ran all-time highs. If y'all can see, Ethereum did not run all-time highs, right? They did not run all-time highs. So that's a divergence that you need to keep your eye on. Ethereum delivered to our weekly BTSMC target. We got back to here. Now we want to see the same thing. Do we lose it or do we close under it? We got to see that. And you know, Solana, I've been talking about Solana as well. Solana looks, you know, we talk about Solana. We want to run this sell side liquidity right here on the daily. If it runs that, then I have it targeting the weekly lowest body at 89.51. Weekly lowest body at 89.51 if we lose this sell side liquidity target on Solana. But regardless, with the potential bearish sentiment on Bitcoin, what does that mean when it comes to the NASDAQ and the S&P? What I've noticed a lot is that Bitcoin and crypto sometimes is a leading indicator for NASDAQ, as in I usually will see them go bearish before NASDAQ does. And so this was very interesting to me to see how they got real bearish last week while the NASDAQ was going to all-time highs. And then knowing that we're starting a new month, I talked to y'all about we're in a new quarter now. So it's just a little interesting. And remember, on NASDAQ, which I'll go to right now, what do? We got to the target we've been targeting since May 15th. We got to this target. And so now that an objective has been met, it's going to be interesting to see what comes next for the NASDAQ. So let's go into detail on NASDAQ. Let's go into detail. Here on the weekly chart, obviously, if you're bullish, you want to see us make a weekly bullish fair value gap. So this red candle right here, we don't want this week. We don't want any point of this week to touch the high of this red candle, because that eliminates the opportunity for a bullish fair value gap. And why do we like to see a bullish fair value gap? Because that is something that shows us sentiment in the market. It shows a level of energy in the market towards one side. It shows volume, it shows displacement. All right, so now on NASDAQ, let's go to the daily chart. On the daily chart, we have a daily bullish fair value gap. This BTSMC on the daily chart is very, 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 very important. Very important for NASDAQ. So if we happen to get a retracement in the early parts of this week down to here, a lot will depend on this. I'm really looking for, I really hope price could trade into this, because it's going to tell us a lot. Because after this, I don't think this will hold us. Yes, you have a BTSMC under here. I'm not saying we won't bounce here, but to me, the high probability one is the one that I'm highlighting right now. Under here, I'm not really looking towards that, because under this BTSMC, I think we're going to these lows. You feel me? So a lot depends on that. But will we even get that retracement in the first place? It all depends. So this is what I had drawn out. I made this watch list on Friday, or I did the charting on Friday. So I wanted to see how we trade in this weekly BTSMC. Do we get there in the first place? Let's see how we opened up so far. We opened up so far. What do we do? I mean, we pretty much been in a range, but I'm looking to see price come into this BTSMC before anything else. And so When you're trading at all-time highs, you have no choice but to pretty much run tests on different POIs. So this is our first bullish test. Is this hourly BTSM? Does this want to generate higher prices? If we come into this and shortly after you see another hourly BTSM come out, that shows a willingness to continue a bullish trend. Because what do we say true bullish sentiment is? True bullish sentiment is coming into a fair value gap and shortly after creating another fair value gap. That's true sentiment. And so if we do come into this and then shortly after we create another one, price is telling you what's up. They telling you, now we're going to be bullish for a little while. But if it loses this area, now you have to look lower. And my fault, this yellow line was what we bounced on Friday. This is a POI, and maybe my mentees may remember what this POI is. And so 1H1Q, that's literally what we bounced on, and we never looked back on Friday. But that's no longer relevant. So anyway, so if we lose this, we could see lower prices. If you want to make this a broader POI, you could wait for us to lose the 4-hour BTSM. This is a 4-hour BTSM as well. So when it comes to the 4-hour chart, technically so far we have tapped into it. We got a little bit of a green reaction, but we obviously traded back down. So once again, I do expect us to come deeper into this, and then we'll see how we do in this overall area. But after that, y'all, I think it could see its way into the daily BTSM. So once again, first test is this. If we don't hold that, I'm looking for price to come into the daily BTSM that I talked about. Okay, that is my NASDAQ plan. Now, how do you know if price is going to use that area? If anybody followed me on Instagram, I had posted the confirmation timeframes to look for when it comes to pairing up your POIs. So what I mean by that is, if this is a 4-hour fair value gap, and I'm actually, whatever, I'm not even going to mark it. If it's a 4-hour fair value gap, run a 4-hour chart. I think a good time frame to pair that up was the 15-minute, because if now we come into this and you see the 15-minute start to create BTSMs and respect the BTSMs that it's creating, that's real confirmation. But don't take your 4-hour POI and confirm it with a 1-minute BTSM or a 1-minute change of character or whatever. And those who know me know that I'm not really someone to do change of character, break a structure necessarily. It's not really, I don't really do the traditional market structure to tell me sentiment. Oftentimes, people are waiting, for example, for a market structure shift to become bullish on something. I don't need to see this. I largely know if we're bullish way before we ever get a break of structure or before we ever get some type of change of character. But whatever. So I'm just saying it for people in the audience, like, you don't necessarily have to wait for that. But regardless, if you're gonna use that, use a 15-minute. If you're getting a 4-hour POI, let's see a 15-minute change of character. See a 15-minute break of structure. See a 15-minute fair value gap form, get respected. Then you could be convinced, because it's a whole 4-hour area. You can't be on the 1 minute trying to validate this. That's not it. The 1 minute could make a BTSM and it looks good, and the next thing you know, big dump. You're like, oh man, I thought it was bullish. Like, yeah, bro, it's a 4-hour area. You got to be careful. So I will confirm 4-hour with the 15. I will confirm the hourly with the 5. Right? These are things I share on Instagram. So if you're looking at the hourly, this is the hourly. My fault. Where's the hourly fair value gap that I had? Oh, I already deleted it. My fault, but whatever. Wherever it's at, y'all know what I'm saying. I can't even go back to that. It's gonna take too long. So wherever my hourly fair value gap is, let 5-minute BTSMs come out, get respected, and then you target the previous highs. So if we had an hourly fair value gap, which I'm gonna redraw that right here. We have this hourly one, right? If we tap into this, which we haven't so far, but if we tap into this, and then you see the 5-minute confirmations coming out, where's your initial target? Your initial target will always be the previous highs that you came from. So you will be looking for price to come here next. If you see the confirmations you like, then you would target this. After this, you need to wait for information. Now, there's a certain way we should take highs when we expect continuation. There's a way in which we take highs. When you don't expect continuation, there's a way that you take highs, right? You might see engineering into the highs, right? You might see some engineering. Next thing you know, big sweep comes in. But let me not get too in detail about that because I got other things I want to talk about today. There's so much that I could share, but I'm trying to keep it brief. So that's NASDAQ. Now let's get to the S&P. On the S&P, same thing. We doing our tests. So for testing on the S&P, what I was looking at was this 4-hour BTSMC. We came into it early so far. Let's see how it's reacting. So look how it came into it, popped out, no bullish fair value yet. All right, so no confirmation so far. So that's what I mean, where this actually might be a good example to show y'all. It's a 4-hour area. Look how the 5-minute made BTSMCs. Look at this. Look how the 5-minute made BTSMCs. You're like, oh shoot, it's lit. But as I'm saying, that time frame is too small to confirm with a 4-hour POI, because look how the BTSMC didn't get respected. It got traded right back through. User on the other side made a new low. We might see some more downside. And so it's like, don't confirm with that. I think a 4-hour, a good confirmation time frame is a 15. You feel what I'm saying? So hopefully that makes sense to y'all. Don't just get in because we in that area. Especially these days with the market we've had in 2024, I don't just get in because we in the POI. 4-hour BTSMC, I'm in it. I'm in calls. I'm in buys. Don't do that. Let price talk to you. Sometimes you're gonna be like, sometimes you might have to get into the move right here. You're gonna ask yourself, dang, if I would have gotten at the bottom, I'll have more money. But you're still about to catch a nice move because you're about to take it from right here to these highs. So don't let greed destroy your trading. I learned this in business. A great business person doesn't just focus on maximizing profit, they focus on minimizing risk. That's actually what's going to create really success in business. But you got to take it the same way in trading. It's like, yes, maximizing profit, that type of mindset is going to get you in down here. Cool. When you wait for confirmation, that's a person who's minimizing risk. But you got to think about it like this. When you have the maximized profit mindset, you might take a lot of losses because you get in early, boom, you get stopped out. It didn't really want to use that POI. You got mad drawdown before you ever see these highs. But the person who waited for confirmation, they barely take losses because they're waiting for confirmation. So they're gonna make more money over the long term. And so I'm hoping that resonates with y'all. I really hope that resonates with y'all because that's a major point to make. And that goes for all trading styles. All right. So cool. So that's ES. This is the first test. If not, I don't think it's gonna use this hourly BTSMC again. I really don't. But we will watch this. Honestly, this is from Friday. I'm gonna erase that. That's from Friday. That's what we bounced on. If you guys remember, I put this in the free community. I said we're gonna see what we do with this BTSMC. Obviously, we used it, so that played out. But that we no longer need that. What I will watch here on ES is this 4-hour BTSMC. So if we lose the initial one, then I'll be looking at this, because under this, then we should be able to. I really think we're gonna probably end up running those lows. Under this, we probably run those lows. So if it's not the initial one, it should come here next. I don't think we'll bounce from this fair value gap. I really don't. I think we go and run those lows. If anything, we could target the lowest body. If anything, we target the lowest body. All right, but that's ES. So we'll see how we do within those bullish tests that we had. So cool. Now, YM, something else that's suspect to me is how NASDAQ ran, ES ran, and for people who don't trade futures, ES is the S&P 500. Now, look at the Dow Jones here. They stayed the same. They just consolidated all week. But overall, look at this whole area. We've had way more dojis than impulsive candles since June 3rd. For the whole month of June, y'all, we've been in doji central on the Dow Jones. It's disgusting. I wouldn't even trade this thing. But as far as just strictly using it for sentiment, I would say you got to keep your eye on the fact that it's not really moving with the NASDAQ and the S&P. So we'll keep our eye on that. I think we may see some downside in the short term right now on the Dow Jones, but overall, I wouldn't say to trade this ticker. I think we go bullish above this daily CIVI. I think we go bearish below this yellow line. But ultimately, just be careful trading inside of the range. Like Rose said, the Dow was not convinced. Exactly. And I'm not convinced on the Dow. And another ticker that's similar to the Dow is the Russell. Look at the Russell 2000. Another doji central type of ticker. This is nasty work. We're not looking to trade this. The bullish delivery and the bearish delivery was disgusting. This is chop. This is a range. I keep telling y'all for the past few weeks, I told you I wouldn't trade the Russell. So I would stay away from that as well. Now looking at copper real quick, copper filled out a weekly VI target and it's been bullish ever since. Like this was, I didn't even think it would stop here. I thought it may have had more downside, but this first target was all it wanted, and now I'm pretty much bullish on it. I'm looking forward to trade into 4.8870 as a next destination. So when I have a destination for a ticker and it's a bullish destination, how do you handle that? You look at, so my fault. Let me back up. So I get a destination from the monthly time frame. All right, and then I'm asking myself, okay, what could we, if we're gonna go there, how could we get there? So all of my time frames below the monthly need to be in alignment with that monthly target. So on the weekly chart here, if you see, we came to the weekly VI. That's an objective in itself. All right, cool. Now we get to this weekly VI. This is, hold up. Try to check something. This should be like this. All right, so we come to the weekly VI, we bounce off of that. Now, here we're looking to see if we can create a bullish fair value gap. And so I would love to see that to keep me convinced on upside. I wouldn't want to see us touch the high of June 24th week. That means we're going to eliminate that chance. So no. So with that being said, if I want to see a bullish fair value gap, I have to think about all of the things that exist in price action above these red highs. So in other words, I'm only looking for bullish tools in this general area. Understand? In this general area, because we don't want it to come down this low and touch the highs of June 24th. I hope you guys are following me. I hope I'm not losing anybody. So now that that's being said, now I have an area of, okay, I'm only looking at bullish tools in this area because the monthly makes me feel that it wants to come to this yellow line. Okay, cool. So the weekly, there's no like POI to go off of necessarily. So I come to the daily and I say, okay, well, on the daily, what would I want to see here? On the daily, I personally wouldn't want to see us come back down to this bullish fair value gap down here. All right, I wouldn't want to see us come down here. Plus, we already have context that we don't want price to lose this purple area in the first place. I know I'm losing some people. By bullish tools, I just mean bullish PD arrays. By bullish tools, I just mean bullish fair value guys, bullish order blocks, you know, whatever things you use to send you back to the upside. That's what I mean by bullish tools. Something I say in my mentorship, I always say tools because when I was first learning SMC, all the terminology and stuff sometimes was confusing to me. I'm like, dang, it's so much to remember. So I try to make it simple for people. And so I always call it tools. Like, hey, you know, that's a tool in price action that I could use to take me back to the upside. So that's what I mean by bullish tools. So, you know, we don't want price coming down this low in the first place. I'm gonna answer that question in a second, bro. So now the daily chart, I don't want it down here. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, well, I would love to make a bullish fair value gap on a daily chart. So in other words, let's refine this. If I want to make a bullish fair value gap on a daily chart, I can't have it fill out this purple box because, and I know I'm losing some people, but stick with me. If I haven't filled out this purple box right now, today, I'm talking about today's candle, that means it's going to touch the high of Wednesday's candle. That means there's no opportunity for a bullish fair value gap. I hope y'all following me. So I'm only looking at bullish things in this area. So let's go down the time frame. And I'm saying, okay, cool. So what do we have? We have a bullish fair value gap here on the 4 hour. So I'm looking to see if price wants to use this to take us higher. I don't really want price to come down here to this order block, although it could. There's an order block, right? It could. I don't want to see that though. So I am interested in this area, and being that it's a 4 hour area, y'all should know I will confirm that at a 15. If I'm not seeing that confirmation, I'm gonna stay patient and say, okay, maybe it does want the OB. If it don't want the OB, what I'm gonna find POIs that's down here. So you take it a step at a time, but ultimately you're looking at nothing but bullish things. We're not looking at things all the way over here because the monthly already gave you context, right? The monthly already gave you context that and that doesn't mean you're always right. I could be wrong. The monthly might not want to come here, but you can only trade with what you your analysis. So my analysis, I feel like the monthly wants to go higher into this area. So I'm only interested in bullish things. I'm not interested in nothing over here. I'm not looking at the biggest mistake people make is trying to validate order blocks and stuff that have nothing to do with our current order flow. You're trying to take order blocks and fair value gaps that have nothing to do with the current order flow. I'm focused on this price leg. I'm focused on stuff on this price leg. And so I hope you guys get the logic at least. Whether it plays out for copper or not, take the logic and apply it to any ticker that you're trading. So yeah, like Mr. Vincent said, that's the top down. That's the top down analysis. Everything, all time frames should be in alignment. That's when you get the trendy plays. That's when you get the best plays, the ones that really deliver aggressively. Because let's say that, and I've shared this before, but let's say that the monthly direction is truly bullish, then, and my fault, let me also tell y'all why I believe we're bullish. The monthly is already coming off of this bullish fair value gap. I forgot that detail. So you notice that the monthly came in, stayed above 50%. We love that. It's already reacted to this bullish fair value gap. So from the monthly chart, you see the monthly pushing out. I'm looking for a continuation on this monthly chart. And this is a safe target for me. But ultimately, I do have it going higher to run out those highs. So to Rose's question, do I use the equal highs on the monthly? Yeah, because that's engineering liquidity. They engineering liquidity here where you have these equal highs. That looks like a double top, quote unquote. And when I look at this weekly price leg, what do we say about price legs that don't have SIBIs in it? Price legs that don't have bearish fair value gaps in it? They're suspect, very suspect. I know you guys are pointing out this one right here. I could read your mind. You're like, yo, I see one right here. Yes, I understand that. I don't believe that this SIBI is gonna send us back to the downside and run these lows. That doesn't mean we can't react to it. We're currently reacting to it, yes, but I think we're reacting to it to push us into something bullish that will actually take us back higher. I don't think we're gonna make new lows off of that SIBI, no. Because if we were truly bearish, not to get too complex again, if we were truly bearish, chances are we probably wouldn't be back here in the first place. This is one of the SIBIs that would have been left open. So coming back to it, I really don't bring relevance to this SIBI in the first place. I understand we can react, but it will probably push us back higher. All right. Yeah, you're welcome, Rob. And I'm glad you see it the same way that I do. So that's just confluence for me. That's confluence for me as well. So cool. I'm glad that you guys see it my way. And so cool. We're gonna watch these tools on the bull side there on copper. Whether you trade copper or not, I hope you guys just get the logic. It's really about the logic more than it is this specific scenario on copper. Now here on CL, this already kind of played out in a sense because I mean we didn't touch it. Technically, my analysis, because remember I made this on Friday. I wanted to see if we could use this SIBI here to take us to the 4-hour lowest body. And need I repeat, that lowest body really be a target? It do it not. Look how price bounced right on the lowest body of the 4-hour. So if you was holding sells, you still holding. Look, they already took back all your profits. The whole drop you caught since the market opened, we opened and dumped straight to the lowest body and reacted immediately. They took back your entire profits just now off of that reaction. But so what comes next for CL? Because they already got my first target that I made on Friday. But it may end up trading back down, but ultimately you got to watch it. This overall area is tough. Obviously, we're in a range. I think clean moves exist under this yellow line to take it back to the downside, like under 82.29. I think clean moves exist under there, and I think clean moves exist above these highs. Now, a good sign that we may trade back to above those highs is price finding its way to trading on the top side of this hourly SIBI. So if price does come to the top side of this hourly SIBI, chances are it's going to end up running those highs up there, right? These equal highs. Because basically, if we were bearish, you don't really want to see price come back here just to come back there. You wouldn't really want to see that. It could happen, but you really wouldn't want to see that. So that's why I say if price does come up that high right now, then chances are we're going to run these highs. And if we do, my bullish target is 85.41 on when B adjust is off. I wrote that as a reminder for myself. My fault. B adjust should be off for that. So yeah, when B adjust is off, it's 85.41. I don't know who's knocking on my door right now, but I don't know what to do about that. Because hold up, y'all. I don't know who's knocking on my door. Hold on, real quick. All right, y'all. My fault. It was I don't know what that was. There was some kids with some candy trying to sell candy. I was like, listen, y'all, we going over some stocks. So anywho, what you call it? So where we at? CLCL. That's hourly SIBI. We talked about that. All right, let's move on. So that's CL. Let's go to gold. Right. I said everything I wanted to. Yeah, let's go to gold. So gold, man, gold has been very interesting because it's been holding this area. And what is this area for real? Let's find out that the area is this weekly BTSMC. This weekly BTSMC. Be adjusted is supposed to be on. There we go. So it's this weekly BTSMC on gold. You could stretch it and include the VI if you want to, but it's this weekly BTSMC on gold. We've been holding. If you include the VI, you see that we've been reacting right at the 50%. So now on gold, I'm expecting more bullishness. You said tell the kids to join the free community. Vince said that's the game police. I am giving too much away, but it's all good. It's free smoke. Everybody can get it. But facts. So here we are on this weekly chart. I'm expecting us to run all-time highs on gold soon. I'm expecting a continuation on bullish sentiment. Here you notice that we made 2 bullish value gaps in a row. So I'm looking to see continuation here on gold to the upside. We love how gold had reacted here to this 4-hour BTSMC. This is when I put in the chat. I said, wait for gold to break this range. I told y'all we've been holding a 4-hour BTSMC. I talked about holding the top side of it, right? You notice how all the bodies stayed above 50% of this. What happened after that, y'all? What happened after that? Bullet. We got real bullish on gold. So you just want to see continuation on this ticker here. And so next destination on gold, once I wanted to fill out this daily VI. That's a short-term destination for me to fill out this daily VI, but then ultimately continue to the upside. I know that there's a bearish fair value gap here. This is one of the bearish fair value gaps that I would tell you guys I don't bring relevance to. So I believe this is out of context. I could be madly wrong. Price could come here and go to hell, right? I just don't think it will. I think we're gonna, even if it reacts at first, we'll end up going back bullish. That's what I believe. I think that gold is gonna trade to all-time high soon. That's my bullish bias on gold, but we will have to see. Silver is very interesting to me. I think silver coming off of this weekly bullish OB, a simple target, you guys should already know, highest body, but I don't think it'll stop there. I believe that it's going to run these all-time highs, being that we have relatively equal highs here. So I think we're using this bullish OB to take all-time highs. So when it comes to silver, much like gold, I believe that we're going to go bullish. They both consolidated for a while, and it seemed that they're both breaking out to the upside. So I like what I see here on silver. This is the first bullish test I have here, which is this 4-hour BTSMC. We obviously traded into it so far on Sunday here, and we'll see if it wants to continue. 4-hour BTSMC, let's see the 15-minute. So we have no confirmation on it yet, right? So we'll see if it wants to use this area or not. But either way, I'm bullish on silver in the intermediate term, looking for to take all-time highs next. We have a nice build-up here too. Y'all can see this nice build-up here of buy side liquidity. I think we're gonna go for that. Now, here on platinum, I'm expecting continuation to the upside as well. There's a weekly OB here that we're also reacting to on platinum. We already closed above this SIBI. So even if you were bearish, you got invalidated because we closed above this SIBI. And for people who are not familiar, I will just draw it. This purple area, we closed above it. And so that's not good if you were bearish. What's good for the bulls is the fact that bulls reacted to this bullish OB. This is nice, it's coming out. And so a test I have here is this 4-hour BTSMC. Let's see how we do here when we trade into it. We're already about to trade into it. We're gonna get there, right? We're gonna get there. So when we get into here, we want to see ideally price. I would love to see price hold the upper half of this BTSMC and ultimately maintain bullish sentiment after that, because once again, I have them making a nice move higher into this monthly RB. So I would take platinum into 1,138.1. That's why I want to take just into here as an easy target. So that's platinum. Now SPY, I wanted to show you guys this. So once again, since May 15th, back when price down in here, I told you guys that I had a target of SPY coming to this 555 level. Let's just remember, this is all-time highs. There is nothing that ever existed here. So back when price is down here, we wanted price to, I targeted that yellow line. Do you see where we stopped trading on Friday, right in that 555 area? That was the high of the day, 555.05. I was 30 cents off. Give me a break, all right? I was 30 cents off, okay? So from down here, we were 30 cents off on the target. I don't think it's coincidental that price topped out at 555 after we targeted that for 2 months. So what's next for SPY? Being that we just met an objective, SPY can retrace. I don't think we're like ultimately bearish though, because I think SPY is coming to 611.85. That's where I really want to see SPY go to. Like that's a really big target for me. Like literally, I wouldn't even be surprised to see price come here and a bear market could start after that. I'm not saying I'm anticipating that, but just to me, this is a monthly target. This is a weekly target. This is a monthly target. So I would love to see SPY come here next. But being that that's a monthly target, you guys know there's a lot of room for retracements before it ends up coming back to the upside. I just wouldn't really believe in any retracements so heavily to the point where you're anticipating, a stock market crash. I wouldn't believe in any stock market crashes until we hit at least 611. All right. So that's SPY. QQQ, same vibes. QQQ already killed the weekly targets. We've been at the second target on QQQ. So now I'm just looking at the monthly target for them, and that's 563.15. So I would love to see that. Now, once again, we don't have to get there right away. So on QQQ, much like NQ, a very important fair value gap for us to hold is this one. You could connect it with the baby gap or the VI, however you look at it. You could connect those. This is a very important area for us to hold for upside. If we don't hold this, once again, this is a fair value gap here that I'm not saying we won't react to it, but it's a much lower probability that we react here. Chances are, if we don't bounce on the purple one, we'll come to these lows, and there's a gap under here too that could potentially be filled. I would like to create a weekly BTSMC. So for bullish sentiment, right. So I remember this thought. So for bullish sentiment, yeah, obviously, we want to bottom out in here and continue higher, because then we can make somewhat of a bullish fair value gap. Even though it'll be small, it'll exist. It'll just be another sign that we're bullish. So we're watching that on QQQ, just more upside. Once again, when you have all-time highs and you met an objective, you have to just take the mindset of, I'm going to test out POIs. I'm waiting for retracements. I'm testing out POIs. If the POIs are working, I'm targeting the recent high. So what does that look like? Just to reiterate, this is a POI right here. If we come down into it, we react. Where's my target right now? Just for right now, we're at all-time highs. So my target will be right there. So I would take this. If we react the way we like, we get the confirmation time frames playing out exactly how we said. We taking it to right there. After this, you hold runners. You look at how we're taking those highs. I already gave you guys a hint as to certain things you don't want to see heading into highs. Like I said, you don't want to really see price stagger into it, and then make a fair value gap, and then another fair value gap to the downside. Bad signs, right? Those are bad signs. You don't want to see that. So if we take the highs in a manner that we like to see, keep it going. It's gonna extend. And where can it go after that extension? I won't share that for the free, because there is a way to know where price will probably go next. But yeah, so that's that. Now let's get to some tickers. So Apple is something else that we had talked about back when Apple was down here. We had targeted Apple coming to 220, 219. Where was it? It topped out here. We got the retracement right at our first target. And this is what I meant when it comes to when we hit an objective, price is liable to retrace. Remember, when we hit an objective, price needs to retrace, collect more liquidity to move back to the next destination. So we hit an objective here on Apple, something we talked about at all-time highs. Once again, as I told you guys, you can get targeted at all-time highs. You think that price is delivered by news and all types of stuff? No, it's algorithmically driven. It's all coding. One day you will all believe me. All right, so as you guys saw, I told you where Apple was going. It hit there. It came back to what? A daily bullish fair value gap. Do you guys see how sensitively it reacted to that daily bullish fair value gap? Unfortunately, I wanted it to go deeper into this before I went long on Apple. So I was kind of annoyed because I did want Apple to come a little deeper into this before going bullish. It literally touched it to the tick and got up out of there and never came back. This is a highly probable bullish order block here on Apple. And so you see how it reacted to this bullish order block. Once again, anybody who's trying to tell you that order blocks are just one candle, they don't know what they're talking about. Respectfully, they just need to learn some more stuff. It's not. And just because you're highlighting the consecutive candles doesn't mean that your stop loss is based on this entire area. My mentees, when we do the order blocks lesson, y'all gonna see what I mean. There's a specific part of the order block that we expect the reaction to be. So in this scenario, it did exactly what we wanted it to be. And by the way, I'm not simply talking about it being the upper half. I'm not simply talking about maintaining a mean threshold. On certain order blocks, guess what? I do want it to come to the low side. Just in case you're trying to assume what I mean. On certain order blocks, you want it to come to the downside of it, to the bottom 50%. You want it to on certain order blocks. And other ones, like this one, this is one where I wanted it to maintain the high side of it, as it did, and Apple has been playing out really, really nicely. And so I'm currently in Apple swings to the upside. I'm looking for it to continue. When I gave you the initial target, I also gave you the second target. So I am still anticipating Apple trading to 235.15. That's my next destination on Apple. A bad sign for me would be if we were to lose this BTSMC right here. So I would pretty much say the fair value gap from July 2nd. That'd be a very bad sign to me. I don't want to see us lose that on Apple. We gotta kind of just continue right away for the most part. Just stay bullish in this area and continue to get to 235. Lawrence said that I want the high side because that previous flat top liquidity had been taken, or is there another reason I'm not aware of? No, it wasn't about the liquidity being taken. No, it wasn't about that. Nah, but I am gonna do order blocks masterclass though within some weeks from now. I'm gonna make announcements in the free community, and everything I know about order blocks, I'm gonna share it in that masterclass, like everything. So the reason I'm thinking of, I'm just gonna say it in the masterclass. You know what I mean? Mentees, y'all already know y'all gonna hit that in mentorship, but for the masterclass is for everybody. So I'll be posting details about that. I'll get really in depth on everything order blocks. But no, it wasn't about the liquidity, nah. So here on Adobe, this played out. If you guys remember, we looked at the earnings gap. I said I want to see if price can maintain the upper 50% of the earnings gap. It obviously did. And I said if it breaks over these highs, we should extend. Now, why did I say that? And remember, we do these watch lists not just to get cool plays. We do these watch lists so we can learn from them. So being that price had already obviously topped out and made its retracement into this gap, which is an inefficiency, okay, if we come back above these highs, that's a really bullish sign. There's no reason to come back above this to come back here. That's not really expected, you know? So once we came back with these highs, this is an example of something I would take a breakout trade on. I'm not a breakout trader, but being that I already had a bullish target, which is this gap fill, which I shared back when remember, we call all of this stuff before it happens. We're not saying this stuff in hindsight. That's not what we do at BTSMC. We talk about stuff before it happened. So we already talked about it using this gap to take us to fill out this gap, which it delivered last week. So that's why I'm updating you guys on it so we can learn from it. You already have a bullish bias. You already have a bullish target. And so when we retrace and you have a place where you want it to hold, like the upper half of this gap, when it does break back above, what do you expect? A higher high, right? And so you don't expect to make a higher high and then a lower low. So that's why I say this is a time where you could actually take a breakout trade. But the only how you could do that confidently is if you know that price does have a buy side objective that it has not met yet. So for me, I told you the buy side objective for me is for us to fill out this gap on Adobe. So when we retrace at first, yeah, I could just set price, which I did set a price alert. And I was telling maybe Tanisha, she in here. I think I was telling her, we was on the phone the other day. I was like, yo, I should have just took Adobe because I looked at the price alert say here, like, yo, if we break above these highs, it's an easy play to just take it to this gap fill. This is when you would take a breakout trade. I didn't take it though, but I'm telling you guys that the analysis obviously played out. I hope somebody did pay attention and take it. Once we left these highs, look what happened. And what did I say about how you take highs? Look how we took highs. This is a true breakout. This is what a real breakout looked like. So I know before the Zoom started, you guys told me that you've been dealing with a lot of fake outs and you want to, when you take highs, you want to take it in this manner. You don't want to stagger above these highs. That's not a good sign. Sometimes it continues, but I'm telling you, it's not a good sign. This is what true breakouts look like. Look at the 4-hour chart. This is what true breakouts look like. That's when you can believe in it. When you're holding all the bullish POIs that exist inside of the breakout. So I know what's a great sign here is we didn't even touch this BTSMC. We didn't even touch this. That's a great sign. But if it did, you would obviously want to respect it. So if we broke out at first, breakout, respect this. I think my computer's lagging a little bit. Hopefully y'all can still hear me. My computer's lagging. I think my computer's frozen. Can y'all hear me? I think y'all can. Okay, it's back, but I don't know. Hopefully you guys can hear me still. I don't know. My computer got frozen for a second, but here we are. So what I'm trying to say is if we were to come into this area and then we were to break back above, that shows you true bullish sentiment because we just respected a bullish tool. You have a bullish target and prices respecting bullish tools. That's information for you to believe in. Like, okay, I guess I'm correct. Because guess what? When you're actually bullish, you respect bullish tools and price action. And thank you, Janae, for letting me know that you can hear me. Thank you. So perfect. I'm glad y'all can hear me. So here we are. So cool. That's how you can know if you're getting faked out or not. Because when price is truly bullish, it delivers in a certain manner. There's a certain manner in which you deliver. So that's that. So Adobe, that played out. Will we continue? Let's find out. So we're coming off of, let's talk Adobe going forward. We're coming off of what? This monthly BTSMC. I've been talking to this monthly BTSMC for months before we got there. I ain't gonna lie, but whatever. It's good. You love to see it play out. Like this stuff never gets old. That's why I get excited for it. It never gets old. Like look how price had filled out this entire inefficiency. It came right to the bottom of that monthly BTSMC, popped up out of there. All right, now we did what? We invalidated a monthly SIBI. Oh wow, that's good, right? So where do you think price should be going next? I would target the highest body on the monthly chart. That's an easy target. It will probably continue and make all-time highs if we being real. But if you want to be safe, most likely it should come to the highest body on the monthly chart. And so now if you have a bullish target there, you got to look at areas that you don't want to see get invalidated. So for me on the weekly chart, if we're going to come to this yellow line, I don't want to see price come back into this earnings gap. I don't want to see that. So if we're going to come to the yellow line above, the only place that I would be cool with price coming to is this BTSMC. But if we being real, price should not come back to this BTSMC right here. It should not come back there. It should just go. Adobe shouldn't even come back this low. So we don't even want price back down here for real. Adobe hopefully maintains the upside of this and just continues moving. We're already right by this liquidity right here. Price should most likely take that. If not, it might engineer at first just to go. So you could see something like that happen. But ultimately, the monthly tells me we probably should come to like 6 to 18. So I would trust bullish tools and price action. I would trust them, in other words. All right. So that's that. That's Adobe. Let's go Amazon. This was the first target I have on Amazon is 203.50. Then I'll take it to 207. But Amazon, I'm expecting continuation. I'm just showing you guys this because this is once again something we had charted. A BTSMC is a bullish fair value gap. Sammy, BTSMC is a bullish fair value gap. If you don't know what bullish fair value gap is, though, I can show you after I finish this recording because this is being recorded. But after the recording, just ask me. I'll show you what a bullish fair value gap is. If you don't know or anybody wants to know, just let me know. So on Amazon, I told you guys last week that this is an extremely important fair value gap for Amazon. I said everything's going to depend on this because if Amazon don't hold this, it's going to go down. And I talked about it holding mainly the upside of it. I was cool with it coming to the downside because there's still an order block here, right? There's still an order block right here. But ultimately, really the upside of it, obviously it held the upper half of it and we're making a higher high right now. I'm looking for it to extend. Now, I will say, what do we talk about when it comes to sentiment? If you come into a fair value gap, ideally you want to make another one shortly after. So Amazon, I didn't like how on Wednesday, this red candle came in and eliminated the opportunity to make a BTSMC. I didn't like that. But we did get revived on Friday. You see, Friday ended up being bullish. And so I'm looking to see some continuation. But I will say, though, I'm not necessarily a fan of how Amazon is delivering per se. Now, Amazon, you don't really want to see price lose this overall area right here. All right, so I don't want to see Amazon come below like 197.75. I want to see it just use this area and continue to the upside. Tap into this, continue to the upside. If it loses this, that doesn't mean I'm bearish on it. It just means I would stay away from it, right? If it loses this, I would stay away from it. That doesn't mean I'm bearish. There's a difference, big difference. All right, so that's Amazon. Bath and Body Works. Now, I had sniped Bath and Body Works here on. I took the SIBI, took the rejection, ran these lows, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sell. I'm gonna be conservative. I took early profits. It's still a good play, but golly. So this was destination I really had Bath and Body Works coming to. Was this monthly? My fault. Monthly. No, weekly. My fault. I can't read clearly. The 1W meaning weekly. I had to come to this weekly BTSMC. This is not a probable one, but this one is. We want to watch to see what price does it here. So if price doesn't hold this, it definitely can have some downside. So I'm kind of just watching this overall weekly BTSMC here on Bath and Body Works because it can send price really bullish. But if it doesn't, then I expect price to get really bearish. All right, so this is an important fair value gap to watch on Bath and Body Works. Being that it's a weekly POI, you could validate it with what? The daily. If you don't want to use a daily and you want to be a little more risky, you can validate it with what? The 4 hour. So it's a weekly POI. If you see the 4 hour come into this area and start making and respecting BTSMCs, you can target the next bullish objective and price action. So the next bullish objective and price action may be a daily target. It may be a 4 hour target. Heck, it might be a weekly target. You might target just this weekly SIBI, whatever it may be. But I'm just saying you want to confirm a weekly POI with the daily or the 4 hour. Either one. 4 hours a little riskier. All right. So, but Bath and Body Works has potential. I'm just showing you guys that it's in a POI. So we're going to watch for that. Boyle, I have Boyle coming down to 622. That's definitely a potential destination, but we got to watch how it takes these lows. Remember, we don't want to see it sweep. If it sweeps, trade idea dead. If we start making another bearish fair value gap under these lows, I got to come into 622 next. It's never traded down that low, right? So that's an all-time low target. I talk about all-time hard targets. That's an all-time low target, 622. That's in the intermediate term, but it's gotten really bearish here. So we're going to look to see if we get some continuation under these lows. I don't really want to see price close above these green candles on a daily chart. I don't want to see that. But Boyle has some potential downside there. Carnival, we talked about this last week. I said I'm only interested in Carnival if it could come back to this BTSMC/VI from the daily chart. And so it came back here. So now what? Now we want to see. You could look for hourly. You could look for hourly bullish fair value gaps that not only develop but get respected. So do you guys see why I wait for confirmation? Right? We're not getting no hourly bullish fair value gaps that's getting that's like showing you bullish sentiment or anything, right? So ultimately price is traded down. So we stay patient. You stay patient until price delivers. If you want to be conservative, you can wait for 4 hour BTSMCs if you want to be conservative, because on Carnival, when it comes to the bullish side of Carnival, I think it has a real nice run in it. You know, it could really, really run to the upside if it stays bullish. I had like the monthly chart. I had like the weekly chart and the monthly chart. So both of them kind of told me like, yo, we could really see our way to like $30 on Carnival, no lie. But it all depends on how we trade here. This is a big area for it. So of course you can take your risk on it and just, you know, close the trade if it doesn't hold this BTSMC, or you could wait for the confirmation that I'm talking about, because there's a lot of upside. Me, I'm focused on minimizing risk. So I would wait for confirmation, and then I would just have certain targets. Where do you go? This is the first target, the recent high. These equal highs is the second target. After that, you could hold runners to see if it does want to take out all of these highs right here. And so, but that's carnival for you. I just wanted to let you go, guys, let you guys know that it did come to our POI. So now we wait for confirmation. Coinbase was more of a lesson, I think. No, not necessarily. I think I was gonna tell you guys the Coinbase update was, we talked about not trading inside of here because both sides of the market have been nasty. I'm only bullish on Coinbase still if it continues to hold this monthly busy. It had used it initially, came up, but it didn't really hold. It didn't really hold. It's just been really consolidating this area. So I'm bullish on Coinbase as long as we hold this monthly busy, but under this monthly busy, Coinbase could definitely see some downside. So we're kind of at battle of the fair value gaps again. SIBI, BISI. I think the BISI is going to win. Personally, I really do feel like the BISI is going to win. But I did show you guys Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has some potential downside. But both Coinbase and Bitcoin need confirmation before you could get overly bearish on it. And so it's a waiting game with both of those tickers. COP is next here. COP. I think I had bearish. Once again, I do these on Friday, so it's a little blurry. I think I'm bearish on it though. I think I have it coming to, even looking at it now, I would be bearish on it. And so here's my rationale, by the way. I told you guys that when we take highs, you don't want to see price take highs and then consolidate. It's not usually a good sign. It's okay when price consolidates below these highs, because then you may break out, but you don't want to see us take highs first, then consolidate, and then that's not good. And so that's what I kind of see here on the daily chart or COP. And seeing that this run up had basically no BISIs except this one right here, and seeing that price used it already, made its way back to these highs, consolidated on it, and is now trading on the low side of it. To me, this BISI no longer has any relevance in price action. I think it's going to get traded through anyways. And when you look at the rest of this price leg, there's nothing else that I can see bouncing price. And so to me, I think COP makes its way down to run these lows here at 108. So I kind of like COP's daily chart taking us back to the downside here. CRM is coming off of a monthly bullish OB, right? So after you tap into an OB, what's the next target? The recent highs. So CRM definitely on a monthly chart could take us back to these highs, whether you go with the highest body or the highest wicks. Either way, those would be all-time highs. They look good so far. They tapped into a monthly POI. So what time frame am I looking to validate it with? Look at the weekly. The weekly just made a BISI. So do you guys see why I'm interested in now? Because I saw a level of confirmation. Monthly POI, BISI shortly after on the weekly chart. We need to respect this or never trade back to it. We need to respect it or just never trade back to it. If that happens, then I like these highs. So now I kind of look at it and I say, all right, well, that makes this daily BISI, I'm on daily chart now, that makes the daily BISI highly probable. Or, once again, price may never trade back to it. I will look at this daily BISI. It's also an OB. I will take this daily BISI/VR and validate this. So this could also, all these areas between this purple and this purple, I like CRM going bullish off of either this or this. That's a daily POI. You confirm it with the hourly. So I hope you guys can at least get the process on how you can do a top down. As a daily POI, you confirm it with the hourly. You confirm an hourly POI with the 5 minute. You confirm a 5 minute POI with the 30 second. You go down the list. You go down the list and you can snipe the entry like that. I didn't mean to delete both of those. But yeah, so we'll watch CRM. I kind of like it looks decent right now. But I'll wait for confirmation. I think Disney, I wanted downside on Disney still. I don't like, this was a monthly BISI. Yep, this was a monthly BISI. We're obviously invalidating it. Now, technically, we didn't put a body under it, so I'll be cautious on it, but it's definitely showing bad signs. And Disney definitely could see its way to these lows here at 78.55. Let's see when they have earnings. Maybe that's an indication. Okay, now they don't have earnings for a little while. Actually, what is this? Oh, that's August 6th. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I don't know. But Disney, I think on the monthly chart, I kind of like it looks bearish to me on the monthly chart. And so we'll see. We'll see if it wants to take these lows right here. Sorry, there's a lot of noise here. I was day trading it. I caught some nice trades on Disney last week. There's a lot of noise on this chart though, but I don't like my charts noisy. So yeah, that's that. Google, guys, we got to the Google target. I just want to show y'all that. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Look at this, beautiful people. Peep game. Google, we wanted to see it uses hourly BTSMC to deliver higher. Everything, it went really well, really well. So we initially had touched, first of all, it started from us looking at this BTSMC to take us to the all-time high target we had. Nice. Now we said, all right, last week we talked about this BTSMC being highly probable. Look what it did. It used the BTSMC and went crazy. So shout out Google. Shout out Google on that. And my second target on the monthly for Google is 220. 220.75. That's my second target on Google. So we got to the first target. Let's get to the second target on Google. All right, 220.75. I think that's where it's going next. Does it have to get there right away? No. It could retrace, guys. It could retrace. But I think ultimately, even if you're an investor, I think it goes to 220.75. I don't think I had nothing on this ticker. This is an old red flag. I'm pretty sure. I mean, looking at it now, it should be running these highs next at 53. Just looking at it, but I don't think that I meant to show y'all this. I don't think I meant to show y'all that. But anywho, moving forward, Microsoft. This might be another one I did. I think this is last week's. I should have erased last week's red flags. I might have showed y'all this. It played out though. Looking at this POI to deliver us higher. Yep, it definitely did what it had to do. Netflix did its job as well, by the way. I'm not going to pull it up, but Netflix did what it's supposed to do. I'm almost done. I think I have like a couple tickets left. Palantir, I wanted to see move higher this week. So Palantir, it should be running these highs next. Looks really good. Let's go to the monthly chart, see what we see here. So there's a monthly BTSMC. Look how we get direction. We got a monthly BTSMC. There's also an OB. Nice reaction off of the OB or the BTSMC, however you look at it. So the previous highs are highly probable. We're right next to it. I can assume we're gonna run those highs. And after that, I would target the next highs to the left, which is 29.28. Ultimately, I'm trying to get it to come into this monthly RB. So I would target just about $35. So Palantir, it can definitely see $35, but you want it to maintain all the bullish tools that you have in price action, of course. And so we'll see continuation. Anything that's bullish on these price legs, I'm going to trust it. And do you see why I get direction from the higher time frame? Because the higher time frame tells me to come to the yellow line. This is what it comes to. You guys asked me about fake outs, right? Yeah, if we start retracing, don't get overly bearish because you have an expectation that price should be coming to the yellow line. So you have to ask yourself, okay, if we're moving backwards right now, right? If we're trying to come to the yellow line and we're currently moving backwards, what are we moving backwards for? Oh, there's an order block here. Also, we may be moving backwards just to come into this OB. This is something that you could look to take a play off of. Then you say, okay, I'll probably try to take calls off of this. Because anytime we move backwards, we're moving backwards for a reason. We're tapping into something. We're doing something. Right? We're doing something. So you scan your time frames and find out what are we retracing for. Because you have a bullish expectation. That's why you go to the higher time frame for direction. Use a lower time frames for your POIs to take you to that destination. That's Palantir. Snow, just wanted to show you guys why we target the lowest body. This is a monthly lowest body. It never came below these wicks, right? This is our snow target. We caught a huge move on snow. If you guys remember the snow play we talked about, we caught a huge move on snow. It was this one. Talked about snow coming from here all the way down here. There's a $30 move on snow that we caught. It consolidated where? Right at the lowest body. Popped out of there with BTSMCs. It's looking good for some potential continued upside. But that was snow. So I'm just showing you guys conservative targets. Tesla, I'm expecting continuation. Tesla, I know it's a fan favorite. Everybody loves Tesla. So Tesla here, I think that it's going to continue to upside. Has a lot of upside potential, honestly. I would target super short term. Easy target should be the highest body on the monthly chart. Highest body right here. Easy target for you, right? I think Tesla could see its way there. I would trust bullish things in its price lag. I don't want to see Tesla. First of all, it shouldn't come back to this range, first and foremost. But I definitely don't want to see Tesla even come back to these highs. not before coming to 276. So if Tesla does retrace, I would want it to largely hold this initial BTSMC right here. If it does retrace, I would want it to just hold this area before we get to 270, just call it 277, right? You don't want to see a deep retracement before you come to 277. No, you want to see it retrace just to the very nearest tool you have. We're already so close to the target. Let's maintain bullish sentiment like that. But ultimately, I'm still bullish on Tesla. Nice little breakout. I told you guys, don't trade this. Every time y'all brought up Tesla over the past how many weeks straight have I said, ignore Tesla right now. Wait for the breakout, because when it breaks out, it's going to break out hard. And look what it's been breaking out really hard. Really nice moves on Tesla. So this is why we don't trade consolidation. You made a lot of money on this price leg. You probably lost a lot of money trading Tesla inside of the consolidation. So just be careful. Yeah, and I think that was the last ticket actually. So cool. So I hope you guys got a lot of value out of the watch list. Really, obviously, if you're still in a Zoom, I'll take questions, requests, whatever you want to do. But if you watch this on YouTube, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Check the link in the description for the mentorship. The mentorship is starting tomorrow, July 8th. So definitely check the link for that. If you want to join the free community, the link is in the description as well. Very, very free community, all SMC. That's what we talk about in there. And it's a whole lot of analysis every day. So yeah, with that being said, that's all she wrote.